And on today's episode, I want to go over some changes that we're going to be seeing on your credit reports as it pertains to your paid medical collections. Now, as you can see on the screen, it says 70% of medical collection debts will soon be removed from your credit report. So let's go over the changes. There's going to be some changes this upcoming year. There's going to be a big change in 2023. So on today's episode, let's jump into the details. Let's figure out what's going on and let's see how it's going to impact your credit scores as well as your credit reports. This was posted on March 18th, 2022. So like I said, this was last Friday. So what they're saying is Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, all three of them are coming together to announce significant changes to medical collection debt reporting to support consumers faced with unexpected medical bills. These joint measures will remove nearly 70% of medical collection debt trade lines from consumer credit reports, a step taken after months of industry research. Now, in my opinion, I believe this is all happening because the credit bureaus, they're getting a lot of flack. They're getting a lot of pressure from CFPB about how they're reporting trade lines, how they're responding to or not responding to people disputing, as well as the impact of collections from medical trade lines impacting consumers. So in my opinion, I think this is them semi-buckling from the pressures of CFPB, but we're going to go over that in a second. 58% of the bills that were in collections across the U.S. were medical bills. 43 million Americans have an estimated $88 billion with a B, $88 billion in medical debts, according to the CFPB March 1st report. And 2/3 of medical debts are a result of one-time or short-term medical expenses arising from acute medical needs. This basically means that most of the collections, the medical collections that we see on the average credit report, is something that came out the blue. So maybe you weren't feeling well, you had a temperature, maybe you thought you had COVID, you rushed to the ER. They did a procedure on you or they evaluated you, and that's where this bill came from, something that just came out of the blue, some one-time event. And as I said before, there's going to be two different changes. Let's go over the changes that's going to take place this year. So effective July 1st, 2022, which is only a few months from now, paid medical debts will no longer be included on consumer reports. I'm going to say that again. Paid medical debts will no longer be included on consumer reports. And the second change that's going to take place is the extended time period. So it used to be that it took 6 months from the hospital trying to attempt to get in contact with you, trying to get you to pay whatever it is that you owe. After 6 months of trying to collect, they could take those medical collections and report that to your credit reports. That's going to significantly drop your scores. We already know at this point, 35% of our credit scores is our payment history. Some people have seen upwards to 100-point decrease because of one random collection hit their account that they weren't even aware of. Now with this change, it's not going to be 6 months, it's going to be 12 months. So this is going to hopefully give consumers more time to get in contact with the insurer, get in contact with the hospital, to manage what's going on with the payments. I will say this, a lot of times people, they go to the hospital, they think that the insurance company is going to take care of a specific amount, they pay their copay, and then fast forward a few months, they check their credit reports and they see that there's a collection for some random amount. This is a surprise to the consumer. They see a negative drop in their scores, and now they're trying to figure out what happened. So with these two changes, you're going to have more time to be able to figure out what's going on with these bills. And number two, if the hospital puts these collections on your credit report, as long as you pay the collection, they're going to remove that collection from your credit report. It's not going to show in your reports as paid collection, which really doesn't help us when an underwriter or lender looks deeply into our credit reports. As long as we pay this medical collection, it's going to just be removed. These are the two changes for this year. Next year, debts under $500 will no longer be included on consumer reports. So this is going to be, they're saying early 2023. And what this means is, regardless of whether or not it's a paid medical collection or it's unpaid, you're not aware of it, if there's going to be a medical collection, like I said before in the example, you go to the hospital, there's a mix up with the billing, you're not aware of it, and they end up putting a $200, $300 medical collection on your credit reports. That was the old school way. Now in 2023, they're not going to be able to even report that medical collection if that amount is under $500. And I took a couple of screenshots. You can see here, this is why I said I believe all of these changes is really because of the pressure that the CFPB has been putting on the credit bureaus. As of the second quarter of 2021, 58% of the bills that were in collections and on people's credit records were medical bills, according to a recently published CFPB report on medical debt. But the report also found that medical debt collections were less predictive of future payment problems than other debt collections like mortgages or car loans. So this is the argument that CFPB is trying to make. So if I have a good job and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, and I have to go to the emergency room randomly one day, and the hospital messes up, they do something random with the billing, and there's an unexpected $300 collection on my credit report. Now, with these new rules, this small medical collection is not going to impact me nearly as much as it would have prior to these changes. And it also doesn't mean that I'm a less responsible borrower just because there's a miscellaneous $150 collection that popped up on my credit report. If somebody has a very small medical collection, especially now because of COVID, people are going to the hospitals, billing issues are happening every single day. That's not going to be weighted the same way as somebody who missed a mortgage payment. We can't really compare a medical collection popping up and a missed payment. That's the argument that CFPB is making. Challenges persist for sick Americans. In the first half of 2023, the three agencies said that they would stop reporting medical collection debt below $500. However, the size of the average past due medical bill was $429 during 2020, according to a 2021 review in the medical journal JAMA. So what that means is after these changes take place, millions and millions of people who have $500 or less in medical collections, they're going to be taken care of completely. So with all that being said, who's really going to be impacted with these changes? So on the screen right here, I want to go over the changes between FICO 8 and FICO 9. And let me just scroll down and just read you this sentence. FICO 8 versus FICO 9, what's the difference? FICO 9 is similar to FICO 8, but differ when it comes to collections and rent payments. FICO 9 counts medical collections less harshly than other accounts in collections. So a surgery bill in collections will have less of an impact on your credit score than a credit card bill in collections. All right, so why am I reading this? So there are different FICO scoring models. We have on this page here, FICO 5, 4, and 2. So when you're trying to buy a house and you're trying to get a mortgage, the lender is going to be using 542. So because these are the old school models, so medical collections, even if the amount was like $200, if you were trying to get a mortgage and a $175 medical collection popped up on your credit reports, that's going to cause an issue for you when you're trying to get a mortgage. It's going to negatively impact the algorithm. I actually spoke with somebody not too long ago who was in the middle of a mortgage process. She went to the OBGYN. She thought she paid the appropriate amount. The doctor said otherwise. They went back and forth. That small amount, and it was under $500, that small amount affected the type of loan that she was able to go ahead and apply for. She was able to go back to the doctor. She was able to find proof that she did in fact pay. It was actually removed from her credit reports, and then she was able to qualify for a better rate on her conventional loan. So the reason why I love these changes, it's not fair for somebody to have a $150 medical collection that pops up on their reports randomly because the lender is using 542. They're using a scoring algorithm that still weighs medical collections heavily. In my opinion, it's not fair for somebody to not get the loan that they want or not get the interest rate that they want because of a mishap for a $150 medical collection. That's why I'm a fan of these newer scoring models. That's why I'm a fan that the CFPB is coming out and really putting pressure on the credit bureaus and on FICO to make sure that we really don't have to take care of this. So I just wanted to show you this very quickly. Again, 542, the mortgage lenders, they're still going to be factoring these medical collections pretty heavily. And we just read that the newer FICO models, they've been weighing the impact of medical collections at a much smaller rate. So it's not going to impact you as hard. So it's looking like FICO, CFPB, the credit bureaus, everyone is getting on the same page now, basically saying if you have a medical collection under $500, it's not really a big deal. Yes, we got to take care of our debts. We have to pay what we owe. It's not fair to compare a missed medical collection for under $500 and compare it to missing a mortgage payment or missing a car note or having a charged off credit card. And as early as the first half of 2023, if you have a medical collection under $500, it's not even going to be reported on your credit report. So that's pretty much it. That's the end of this video. Let me know your thoughts. Hopefully the examples I gave made sense. Go down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about this video. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. Stay tuned. Have a blessed one. Peace.